So this is the beauty here, my Dell PowerEdge 2950. So let's go ahead and take a look at the front of this bad boy. Wow, it's beautiful. Okay, so let me kind of explain what I use this server here for. This guy is mainly my file server. I mean, look at this beast. It has 6 hard drives. So this server, I mean, there's a few things about it. I'm going to go ahead and talk about everything about it. Okay, I use it, like I said, for file storage. I store a ton of movies on here. It's now my iTunes server as well. In my other videos, I said my 1425 was my iTunes server. I kind of migrated that over to this just because I want to have all my files stored on here. My 1450 or my 1425. Sorry if I called it my 1450. It's a 1425. The SC 1425 is now my cloud server only. So this stores all my big, stuff that consumes tons of data. So it's a really nice server. I really like this thing, but it has a few downsides. One, it consumes tons of power. This thing is a beast. It just consumes so much power, it's not even funny. I don't even know exactly how much, but it consumes like 400 watts or something like that. That's a rough estimate. Just doing nothing, just being on, it consumes like 400 watts, and it makes a lot of heat. It's a 2U server, so it's quieter than my 1U models. It is a lot quieter, but it just makes so much heat. So I don't run it all the time. I just run it when I need to, but I'll go ahead and power it up for you guys here in a minute, but let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. So it has 6 hard drives. I have all 6 hard drives populated with standard SCSI drives. I'm sorry, not SCSI, SATA drives. These are SATA drives. So this is just what you'd find in your computer, nothing fancy. It's 7200 RPM. These are each 750 gigabytes, so this guy is in RAID 5, and we get just, I don't know, like 3.5 terabytes or something usable space. A lot. We get a lot of space, so it's a good amount of space that I get stored on this thing in RAID 5. So and we get redundancy, so it's all good. You can also go ahead and put in this guy. You can put what's it called? SAS drives. It came with SAS drives, but I have a video on SCSI versus SAS, and I tell you why I don't use SAS drives. SAS drives just don't come in that big of a size, and they're very expensive, but there are upsides to SAS drives. So look up my video on SATA versus SAS, and that'll explain the differences between the drives. But yeah, so we're using 6 hard drives in this guy, and they are all 750 gigabyte SATA hard drives. So just what you'd find in your computer, and there's 6 of them. It has a DVD drive, which is very nice, so we don't have to use like weird ways to install operating systems. We can just throw a DVD drive in it, or if you're like me, you can PXE boot it or use a flash drive. Anyways, so we have a VGA port, 2 USB 2.0 ports. The reason I say that is you're probably going, obviously it's USB 2.0, but some servers like my Dell PowerEdge 1750s only support USB 1.0, which is kind of a disappointment. But yes, it does have USB 2.0, which is amazing compared to what I have to deal with on my Dell PowerEdge 1750s. So here's your power button. There's that mystery Dell button, which I never know what it does. It's on all the servers. I never really pushed it. I don't know what it does, but you have to like use a pin or something to push inside there, but it does something. So there's that button, just in case you guys are wondering where that's located. And then the little indicator light, which so you can locate the unit in a rack full of units. You can push this and it'll change the color of the light so that when you go to the other side of the unit, you know which server you're working on. Okay, so there's no actual light on the front of this. It actually changes the color of the LCD from blue to orange. Also, the LCD will turn orange if there's a notification, if there's a problem. And it'll also display a message saying like, power supply 1 is down, or your hard drive is bad, or whatever. That message will display on the little LCD on here. So we'll take a look at that when we fire it up. Let's actually take a look at the inside of this bad boy now. I love how this server opens up. We have just a little latch right here. And let's go ahead and take a look at this whole thing as a whole. Actually, before we open it up, why don't we take a look at the back? Let's take a look at the back real quick, so we can just kind of get the outside of the unit out of the way, then we'll open it up. Alright, so at the back of the unit, we have some PCI slots without the spacers in there. Sorry about that, guys, but that's just how it came when I bought it. But anyways, we have the DRAC card. It does have a DRAC card populated in it. I'm not sure the exact DRAC version it is. I think it's a DRAC 5 card or something like that. I don't know exactly what version it is, but this is basically a way for you to access the server without it being on. You can set, you know, like settings and stuff. It's really cool. If you guys don't know what DRAC is, look up another video on it. I may do a video on it eventually, but that's not really what this video is for. It's just this is reviewing the 2950, not the DRAC card. But it does have a DRAC card if you guys are wondering. So it's a remote access card. It stands for Dell Remote Access Controller, and you can do lots of stuff. Like I can turn the server on remotely through a web browser without, you know, doing like Wake on LAN, which is always a pain in the ass to do. Just saying, it's always hard to configure Wake on LAN, but this is a really easy way to turn your server on through something like that. So we have a serial port, and then we have the VGA port on the back. Remember, we do have a VGA port on the front of this unit as well, which makes life easy. 2 USB 2.0 ports and 2 gigabit Ethernet ports. Again, here's that indicator light, just so you guys, in case you guys are wondering. So when you push that button on the front, it changes this from either a blue or an orange light or a blinking light, so you know which one you're working on. So if I'm working on this thing in a rack and then I push this button so I know which one it is and I go around to the front, that light will show that, hey, this is the one I'm working on. So if you have like 50 of these in a rack, you know which one you're working on. And this is just a little barrel jack kind of connector right here to also change the status of this indicator light remotely. Here's the 2 power supplies. If we go ahead and take a look at these guys, let me just pull off the one that's not already broken, or it is already broken. This thing's about to fall off, but that's the little orange cover. Anyways, it has redundant power supplies, so if we take a look at these bad boys here, it has a huge fan in there. We see there's tons of connectors. Let's see. So it has the big connectors. Those are probably going to be the ones that are pushing a lot of current, your huge 12 volts. These are just, you know, weird voltages, maybe a couple, you know, low power, weird, just like your, I don't know, minus 12 volt rails and stuff like that. Just weird voltages that you won't use that much power of. That's what all those pins are for. Also probably to tell the status of the power supply. But yeah, you have your main power connectors there and this, and it's just, you know, there's absolutely 0 wires on this thing. It's just one huge, you know, proprietary connector that Dell has, and you just pop it in there and pop it out. So it's really nice. There's your indicator lights. You have power. There's a fault light, and I think, I don't know, ground fault or something like that. I don't know what all of those mean, but obviously if that middle one lights up that's yellow, that's probably not good. And the other one, I don't know what those two mean. I know this one means it's on. And I think one of them means if it has power, and one of them if the unit is actually on. That's what that means. But I would imagine the yellow one with the exclamation point means something's wrong. That's probably what that means. So if we take a look at it right here, here's the specs on this bad boy. These things are a freaking beast. Let's see. It puts out 12 volts at 62.4 amps. Now, tell me your power supply on your computer puts out that much. I know it doesn't. Come on, don't lie. And then it puts out 3.3 volts at 5.5 amps. So that's a lot of 12 volt power. There's not even any 5 volt power, it looks like. So it's just 12 volt and 3.3 volt, which is kind of weird. But it has a lot of 12 volt power, which is kind of unusual. Usually you have 5 volt. So since it doesn't have any 5 volt output, it probably has regulators in the actual on the actual motherboard on this thing itself to make 5 volts instead of having them in the power supplies. So there's 750 watt power supplies, and it says max AC current is 10 amps, which is a lot of current, but usually it doesn't pull that much unless you're probably like pushing this thing to its maximum capacity, which I don't even think it pulls that much. But anyways, these things are really cool how they go in. They just slide right in. Let me show you this. So they just slide right in, and then there's this little lever here, so when you pull this, and then this whole handle pulls out like that. Let's take a look. Watch this. Watch the magic. So we push it in there, and then we push that in, and it locks it in. So that's really awesome. So to take it out, you push this lever over like that, pull the handle, and pop it out, and it slides out. So that's the back of the unit. Nothing amazing. You have 3 PCI slots. I forgot to mention that. And there's this little nifty handle here too. So that's pretty much it. 3 PCI slots. DRAC, serial, VGA, 2 USB, 2 gigabit, the little internet, the little light, and power supply. So that's pretty much it for the back. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of this unit now. Alright, so starting out where I left off, this thing is awesome when the way it opens up. It literally is just like that. And boom, the cover pops off. Now it's actually kind of a pain in the ass to put back on, not gonna lie, but it's easy to take off. So here is the inside of the Dell PowerEdge 2950. Let's get a look at it as a whole. And let's just go ahead and now take a look at everything individually. So this area over here is all just power supplies. Really nothing much going on back there. So here is the DRAC card right here, and this whole thing obviously is the motherboard. So you can put a PCI right there. These are all like PCI Express cards. There's one right there, and then there's two more right there. So those are your PCI card slots for right here. And then, so we have a few things through here. We have, of course, there's our Broadcom chips. So those are going to be for our gigabit Ethernets right there. So let's go ahead and take a look at this beast inside. So here's a little modification I did. I added this, so just so you know, this isn't in there, but you do have two SATA ports, which is kind of unusual. I've never seen this advertised, not advertised, but shown in any of the other videos on YouTube. I mean, everyone knows that there's the 6 hard drives up front, but there's also these two SATA ports, which is really cool, because what you can do is set this in your RAID configuration and use all this for 100% storage. Just don't put any operating system on here, and use these as your boot drive, and just put a little 60 gig hard drive or whatever in here, and put your operating system on this drive, and then just use your hard drives up front for pure storage. That's really cool. But these are a little bit harder to get to, especially if it's in a rack to replace if you had to. But yeah, there's two little SATA ports right there. So the fans are hot swappable. So these guys, you literally just pull this up like that, pull it out, and there's your fan. So there's 4 of those, are all hot swappable. So in total, there's only 4 fans on this unit, and not including the 2 fans that are inside the power supplies. So there's 6 fans in total, but really there's only 4 fans like for the CPUs. So let's take a look at this underneath here. Underneath here is all your RAM. So there's actually 8 RAM slots. It will accept, I believe, all dual rank RAM, so you don't have to have single rank RAM, I don't think. Don't take my word on that. But I'm pretty sure you can have dual rank RAM in all these slots, which makes life a little bit easier and a little bit cheaper. You don't have to buy a single rank expensive RAM. So I'm pretty sure these guys here under the heat sinks, these little heat sinks, are probably, I don't know, your north and south bridge or something like that. Probably, these are probably north bridges. If you ask me, I would say these are north bridges based on their location. They're next to the CPU and the RAM, so they're probably most likely in the north bridges. If you don't know what that is, then look those up. But those are most likely probably north bridges, if you ask me. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't bet on that, but that's probably what they are. Underneath here, we have 2 Xeon processors. To be 100% honest with you, I really don't know the clock frequency, but they're dual-core Xeon processors. Probably something like 2 point something gigahertz. I'm not sure, but probably closer on the high-end range. Probably like 2.8, closer to 3. So that's what those processors are. Like I said, I don't know the exact frequency, just because when I bought it, I looked at it and I never looked at it again. But yeah, that's what kind of processors running under there. These are each 2 gigs of RAM. Let's take a look at one of these sticks here. So if we pop one of these guys out, it sports PC2 4200F RAM. So 4200F RAM is the type it takes. I think you can put different kinds in here. We'll take a look at this little thing over here that explains everything. It explains what kind of RAM you can and can't use and all that crap. It has like a little diagram of everything, but I'm pretty sure you can use dual rank RAM throughout this whole thing, and it sports PC 4200F. So let's pop this guy back in here, and then we'll take a look at the front end of the unit. Okay, so by the way, this whole little bezel thing, it just kind of is to redirect airflow. That's what it does. It takes all these 4 fans and it pushes air through your CPU, but also routes it through your RAM to keep your RAM cool. So that's what this little shroud thing here is for. Kind of gets in the way. It's kind of annoying, but anyways, we'll take this off, and then we'll take a look So I'll pull this thing out of here. Pulls off just like that. And then, so here's the two CPUs. Really massive heat sinks on these things. They stay pretty cool. So let's take a look at the front of the unit here. So here's the actual dedicated RAID card. We can see that it has like a RAM up here. So I don't know how much RAM it has, but that's the RAM. It has like a little processor on it and everything. I mean, this thing is decked out. It's got everything. So this is a dedicated RAID card. These are just, you know, huge proprietary connectors that go to this backplane. This backplane here goes, obviously, connects all the hard drives to the RAID card, so that's the RAID card. And then it has also a battery backup for the RAID card, just to keep, you know, a memory of, what's it called? Oh gosh, what is it called? Oh, consistency, to make sure that the drives are consistent from where they left off. So that's what the battery is for. So that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much else in this thing that I can show you. Obviously, there's disk drive, huge power connector. There's really nothing else, but the real mystery is those SATA ports. Not a lot of people show those things. So that's pretty much it for the inside of this thing. Oh, also, I mean, everything comes out really, really easy. Anything with a blue connector means you can remove it, you know? So, I mean, you can just pull this and bam, your RAID card would pop right out. So, I mean, this will remove the heat sink. Red means it's hot swappable, so that's what it means. And then blue means it's removable. I mean, you can just pull this out, and literally you could probably pull this motherboard out in like a couple minutes. It's really that easy. There's no screws anywhere in this entire server, and a lot of Dell servers are like that. They don't use screws. You can literally change stuff in here without any screws. It's really awesome. So that's pretty much it for that. Let's go ahead and take just a quick peek at this guy real quick. This kind of just tells where everything's at and everything on this server, but it also tells a little bit about RAM. Oh, also the jumpers. Here's all the jumpers. But I'll get a good shot of this, and if you guys really are interested, you guys can pause the video, but I'm not going to show it to you for like 5 minutes and say to study it or anything. But that's pretty much the little instructions. Let me kind of see if I can get a good little view of it. I don't know how good this is going to look on camera, but from my point, it looks like crap from here. But it might look good on 1080p on a screen. So you might want to watch this in HD and pause it if you're really that interested. But I'll kind of go down it real slowly real quick here for you guys, and you guys can just take a quick look at it. So that's pretty much everything. And I don't know if it does say, okay, there it does talk about it. So it doesn't say, it says it supports both dual and single rank memory modules. So you can put dual rank memory throughout the whole thing. So there you guys go. I confirmed it right there. So that's pretty much it for this thing inside. Let's go ahead and fire it up, and I'll show you guys the noise that this thing makes, because it is kind of loud when it starts up, but it's actually not too loud of a server once it gets going. So let's take a look at this thing. I'll put it back together and we'll fire it up. Alright guys, so everything is back together. I have it plugged in. It has power. I only plugged in one power supply, just so you guys know. So it is going to have a little message here displaying that power supply 2, and it probably may already be saying that. But it's going to say power supply 2 is down to check that, and it's going to be orange. So that's what that error message is, just so you guys know. So I'll fire it up. We'll see how loud it is. And then we'll take the cover off to show you potentially how loud it can get, because it gets really loud the second you take the cover off. So it starts off pretty loud, gets a little quieter. I'm probably not going to talk during it. That's why I'm giving you this whole spiel right now, because it gets so loud I'm not going to talk over it. But yeah, it gets quiet once we start up, and then we'll take the cover off to show you exactly how hard these fans can push and how loud it will get if you take the cover off. So let's go ahead and fire this bad boy right now. Honestly, that's the quietest this thing has ever started up. I don't even know why it was that quiet. It just did that just for this video, just to make me seem like an idiot. But normally this thing sounds like a jet airliner when it's taken off. It's loud. This thing is like, whoo. I mean, you can hear it probably like outside of my house. It's so loud. So that's the quietest this thing has ever started up for me. But so it right here, it's telling me about the PSU. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see if I can get it in here. So talking about the status of the PSU2, which is the power supply unit 2, it's saying that it's not working, but That's obviously because I don't have it plugged in, but let's go ahead and take a look at this thing, how loud it can get if I pop this cover off. So let's go ahead and prepare yourself. Pretty quiet, pretty quiet, pretty quiet. Just wait a second. And that's how loud this thing gets. Alright, so we'll go ahead and shut that thing off because it's freaking blaring. But anyways, it has the potential to get very loud if it needs to. It will keep itself cool. You know, it'll push the air through if it needs to. But generally, when it started up and it got quiet, that's normally the running speed that the fans are at. It's normally pretty quiet. It's a pretty quiet server. I love this thing, but it just consumes so much power. I can't keep it running all the time. So these servers are really fantastic for storing tons of data in a reliable and safe way. You know, you have the RAID card. This thing, I mean, I would never worry about losing data on this thing. I store tons of data on this thing, whether it's just small important data or large like movie files. I put it all on this. So that's what this thing is for. That's pretty much it for this thing, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's anything else you guys want to know about it, go ahead and make a request on my forum, or if you guys want to talk about this, go to my forum, thehackhubforums.com. That's pretty much it for the Dell PowerEdge 2950, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this little quick, not quick, but this rundown of the 2950, and like always, guys, have a good one.